G'day guys, welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Johan. My friends call me Your Foot, and today I'm exploring some childhood memories. Alright, let's go. So I got the idea from doing this video after I edited my last video. I was looking at it and I realized from certain angles, now that my hair is cut low, usually I have longer hair. I saw from certain angles you would see some bald patches. Now I'm not going bald. What happened is I had somewhat of an let's say I was not hardened as a child. I think I listened and I hope my mom could vouch for me, but I wasn't hard like that, but I was a bit adventurous, and I have a lot, as we call it in Trinidad, boss hair. So if you look here, should have a patch right there, should have a patch missing there, something on the top here, and then I have one here, but you could hardly see that one. I got that one when I was really young. Plus I have a whole set of scars and whatnot. So I thought it might have been a good idea to tell you guys how I got some of these scars, and then you could make the judgment if I was miserable or not. Hopefully you'll agree with me. I was not. Now first off, let's talk about the head. This one in particular, I remember being small, maybe about 7 or 8. We would go to church, and once rain fell, it had this nice concrete path that used to get moss in it. So me and my brother used to run and slide on it. We did it a few times. And then this one night we were doing it and I fell, hit my head, bust head. So blood, the whole thing. Anyway, that was one. Another time I was playing in the bedroom and my head hit the edge of the bed. Back in those days it was big wrought iron beds. My head hit the edge of the bed, bust head. Or the one in front here, I was running home and I fell and I hit my head on the edge of the door, bust head. But I have an interesting one on the top here. I grew up, as you know, in Trinidad, in the northern range, in a place called Mount Hololo. It's an actual place. That's the actual name. We lived on a mountainside. Active boys, we put up a basketball hoop, and me and my good friend Barry, we were playing basketball. And every time, because we live on a hill, every time we put the ball in the hoop, it used to roll down the hill. So somebody had to go down the hill for the ball. So I remember it was my turn. I'm going down the hill for the ball. Now just imagine this. The hill is like this. I am at the bottom of the hill. And my friend Barry just got this urge. He saw some birds and he just got this urge to throw stones at birds. As we say he get urge to pelt on the birds. And I'm down the hill. So naturally, he's on top, he pelt a stone, and all I remember is him saying, "Johan, watch out." And when I looked up, the stone grazed me the top here. What's it? I blacked out for a few seconds. I was still standing. It wasn't have seconds. It was just like a microsecond because I didn't fall. I had the ball in my hand and I remember getting hit and I was like. And then when I came back, I remember looking at the ball, and the ball is an orange basketball, and it started to turn red. It's because we were active, blood was flowing, so my entire face was filled with blood draining down, and it was falling on the ball. I now have to catch myself and walk up the hill. I didn't know what to do, so at that point, you have to go for adult help. So we went in, and my mother was lying down on the couch. It's the midday, taking a little relax, and she fell asleep. I remember staying at the door and saying, "Ma." She didn't hear me. So I walked in and I tapped on her shoulder and I said, "Ma, Ma." And when she woke up, you could just imagine what was happening, because at that point in time the blood was draining and I was trying to catch it with one hand. So blood, filthy, catching in one hand and blood draining down. And I'm tapping my mother on the shoulder and she woke up and saw, and she was like, "Oh my God." So I'm sorry, Mom. Yeah. But anyway, she was able to help out and treat it and whatnot. And another time, living on the hill actually led to a lot of these injuries, so it wasn't totally my fault. So I remember once my brother had a BMX bike. We lived on a hill where you would go up and then you'd have to come back down on the road, that is when you're driving the car, to meet where we lived. So I went on top of the hill with the bike and I'm saying to myself, I am going to go as fast as possible. I don't know the logic of children, but in my mind back then it made sense. I said the only way I could go fast as possible is if I'm going down the hill. So already gravity will build up a momentum. And I'm saying I'm going to pedal and go down this big hill. And now these are the days before, safety was that big of a deal. So no helmet or anything. So I just went on the bike and I remember just pedaling as fast as I could and going down the hill. And I'm saying, yes, I'm going as fast as I could. But the thing is I went too fast because I remember the handle of the bike started rock side to side and I couldn't control it. And after a while it rocked to the side. And then me and the bike went down and went sliding down the hill. So we slid for about a good 10 feet before we stopped. Now at that point in time, I was afraid, not for injury or anything like that. I was afraid, like, what will I tell my father? Because the bike just got fixed. I basically grated out one of the pedals. One of the handles was totally gone. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going, no, my father's going to get me. So I picked up the bike, and it's only when I start to push the bike back home, I realized, wait, there's blood on my toes. All right, there's blood on my knees. There's blood on my elbow. If you look here, this, where is it? Yeah, that mark you see in there, it's from sliding that off. I had one of that on my shoulder here, and I'm walking down the hill, and my brother see me come down the hill, and he's like, Ma, look, Johan coming down the hill, and he bleeding all over. So again, my mother catch a mini heart attack, running up the hill to see what is wrong with me. I was in secondary school at that time, and I remember going to school with these bandages on my hands and under my pants. It was a whole thing. But hey, I'm fine. Again, it wasn't my fault. It was gravity, and it was the hill. It wasn't me. And then another time, when I was really young, I was in primary school. So maybe I was like, what, 6 or 7 years old. In those days, there was a school feeding program, and they would take these lunch boxes in these old file cabinet drawers that they had in the school. And the drawers had this railing that was very like razor sharp because the wheel ran on it over and over. Now they're not thinking about that, they're just using it to carry these boxes. And after they finished, they would put it behind a big door in the school. And me and my friend playing hide and seek, I pulled the door and I jumped behind it, and my knee slid nicely along that razor edge, and my knee just stood there and split open. And I'm looking at this thing and laughing because I didn't know what else to do. So my sisters went to the same school. So somehow somebody went and called my sister. They come and they got me. We went to the principal, and the principal said, oh, this is beyond me. You need to go take him and carry him to the closest clinic, which was a good few blocks away. So my sisters carried me to the clinic. I basically was like this over them, and they carried me to the clinic, me limping going. Now when we went to the clinic, that was a whole other story. Basically the nurse told us that, hey, they cannot treat us to go back to the school. So we went back to the school. Principal very upset, bandaged it up, and it led to my mother going ballistic when she found out, and she basically went to the clinic to go for that nurse or whoever, because they didn't treat her child, me. That's a whole other story. My mother, I have a few stories of my mother kind of going ballistic when it comes to her kids and whatnot. If you guys want to hear more stories about that, let me know in the comments below. But that was a whole other thing that happened because of me. Again, it wasn't me. I don't know who told the school to put these drawers with little, or behind these doors with little children running about. I wonder if I still have that. Yeah, you could, I'm looking at my knee here, you could still see the line. And another time I know it was the hill's fault, it wasn't my fault. It was, we borrowed a skateboard from a friend, and again, skateboard and hills and, you know, children like me, it wasn't a good mix. I have no balance. I get trouble to jump on a trampoline. I can't time to go back down. Anyway, so I knew I had no balance, so I sat on the skateboard. I was too afraid to stand, and I went down the same hill again. Needless to say, the skateboard went one way and I went sliding down on the side the other way. When I looked, there was a, oh yeah, I still have 2 big marks on my leg of, you know, about this size. Pieces of flesh missing from the side of my foot. That one I tried to hide from my mother, but you know, she figured things out anyway. So yeah, that was another injury. So if you're keeping score by now, we're talking about a few bust head, scars all over, a split knee, you know, things like that. Again, it seems that I was hardened, but as I said, at the same time, we were a bit adventurous, and I'm pretty glad we grew up like that. It was a different time when parents wasn't, I shouldn't say parents, when kids was a little more allowed to go outside more. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have phones, so we went outside. We climbed a lot of trees, some trees so tall, if we fell out, could have been a problem. So, you know, yes, over time, I did get a few injuries, but I hope you could see from my explanation here, most of it wasn't my fault. I was just, let's say, unlucky. Would you agree? Or would you say that I was a miserable child who deserved all of these things? At least we could look back and say that I had those boyhood days and it was a really good time. Now, I'm not saying this to encourage anybody to go outside and do stuff like this. Please be very careful. All right, listen to your parents, as I did. I swear, you know, you could see the halo above my head, right? And in the comments below, share any of these childhood stories you have yourself. And of course, let me know if you want to have more of these story videos. I'm trying something new. I'm enjoying doing it. It's a little easier for me to do with this setup, especially now that we're not traveling and whatnot because of the pandemic. So I'm enjoying doing these videos for you. Like and subscribe to the video. As always, thanks for watching. Bye.